And we are live, and I'm so excited. What a day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are on the static planet, of course. I had my cold shower. I had 2 shots of apple cider vinegar, brother, and I got my cats all hopped up on catnip. I got Luna Bobuna in front of me here at my desk. Piper Newt, she's floating around, and I mean floating around somewhere else. These are some happy cats. Luna and I go way back. We love our Dogman encounter stories. We love stuff about Dogman, and that's what the show is about today. A gentleman who, since the age of 10, this is when it all started, his first Dogman, or dare I say dog woman encounter. Her name is Sasha, and he knows that through Mindspeak, because if you know a thing or two about Dogman, they are known to pull Mindspeak on some people. And this is a heck of a story. Encounters have been happening every single day for this guy. I can't believe it. I ran into him. I was telling him backstage by a fluke, but not is life a fluke? No. Synchronicities abound in your life. Everything happens for a reason. I'm part of a thread from the United Kingdom of Dogman encounters, and he just happened to pop up on there. And I had heard him on Vic Cundiff, Dogman Encounters Radio, the godfather of all Dogman Encounter shows, in my opinion. What a remarkable story, Dale. Oh my God. I'm beyond excited to get this gentleman on. But before I do that, I've rambled on enough. Dale, what's going on? You got to talk too, of course. It's not all about
No, life is good, man. Like I said, I've been running on a wave of highs and lows. I mean, I cannot be any more blessed than I truly am. And of course, sitting beside you each and every week is a blessing in itself. Like I said, we've just been running along, and I've been so from the moment you said you got this guy who has daily Dogman encounters, and then you sent me the interview, the last one he did with Vic Cundiff. Yes. Like I said, I mean, truly, truly interesting, and I know this is not a topic we get to talk a lot about. And I'm so grateful that you found this guy. So
Me too.
I mean, like I said, I'm excited, and it's been one of those shows that I've been dying to do, because we don't get a lot of Dogman talk on here. We get the Bigfoot talks, but yeah, I know how much you love your Dogman. Just want to say a quick hello to a few. Oh, is that the famous Trader shirt?
That's the one from the TV show The Traders Canada Season 2, the Dogman t-shirt that so many people have reached out to me and said, hey, where do I get that? You got to know Dogman. No, anyways.
You got to know Dogman. Yeah. First of all, I want to say to our good Lunker brother, Jason, thank you, brother, for joining us. And
I call him a friend. He's a lunker, but he's a friend. I like that.
And of course, the very lovely Kim Sage. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kim.
Hello.
We miss you too. We can't wait to see you again.
We're gonna get that hug, Kim. We're gonna get that hug at some point.
Yeah, you got to get that hug. All right, let's do this. Let's bring this gentleman out. So, Michael John, let's do the intro.
Well, I don't really need to. I kind of introduced him already, but. If you want to, well, let's do it. Okay, so again, just to rehash, this gentleman, since the age of 10 years old, I'll get to that. Sorry, my mind's all over the place already for this. I'm so excited. I can't keep up with my own thoughts. But since the age of 10 years old, he had his first encounter with a dog woman by the name of Sasha. And he's had encounters through Mindspeak, visual, up close and personal. You're not going to believe some of this stuff. It's incredible, happening every day to this very day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cody to the Paranormal Voice.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey Cody, how you doing today? Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us here to talk about your journey so far into the cryptid world. I mean,
Of
this is
course.
exciting. So I want to say thank you for coming on and talking about it. This is one of Michael John's guilty pleasures, and it's so good. I get to learn even more about Dogman. I mean, I know Michael John eats, sleeps, and breathes Dogman, where I get to live vicariously through him and
Yeah,
all his exciting.
that's
Oh, you
funny.
got to hear this. Oh, you got to, and I was just like, all right, this is cool. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
And Cody, I'll tell you,
Um,
I can't show you. I have close to 30 Dogman pencil sketches in frames on my walls behind me here, along with some other Dogman paraphernalia.
I
I
have,
want to get right to the bottom line here. You
okay.
initially had ties with wolves.
Yes. So my grandma is well, she's passed away now. She passed away in 2011. Um, but my grandma was a tribal leader of the Nez Perce tribes
Wow.
up here in like the Oregon, Idaho area.
Okay.
Um, and that's about as close I'm going to give you to my actual location. But
Right.
anyway, she was a tribal leader, and she's what they called a bone lady, which is kind
Wow.
of like a witch doctor or a shaman. Um, well, anyways, when I was 2 years old, my grandpa lived in Alaska, up by North Pole, Alaska. Come here, dog. Anyways, we went up to see him, and he gave my mom a car. So me and my mom were driving behind my grandma and my grandma's Ford, 71 Ford Ranger. And back then, a 71 Ford Ranger was like a Ford F-150.
Okay.
Right.
So, anyways, we're going through the tundra in Canada, and my grandma says that she had a vision. And now, mind you, we're behind her in this Pontiac Fury, and she just goes off road, off the highway, goes off road, and drives up into the tundra. So we stop the car because we can't like go after her. And we wait, and it's about 45 minutes, and then here she comes in the truck again. Well, sitting beside her on the bench seat were three wolf cubs. And she told us that as she was driving, she had a vision that she needed to go and check out this wolf den. And when she found the wolf den, the mother had been killed.
Oh.
And it looked like somebody had just shot her from a distance and just let her lay. And she could hear the puppies down in the den. And she crawled down in there, and out of 6 puppies, only 3 of them were alive.
Okay.
And she pulled them out, and she took them home with her. And that, I guess, back then, which, like I was 2 years old, so it would have been like 91. I guess it wasn't a big deal back then. But anyways, by the time I was 3, my grandma had full custody of me, and she ended up raising me. And so I was raised with these wolves. And I've had a lot of people tell me that that might be a reason why Sasha's, I don't want to say drawn to me, but like bonded with me. And that might be a possibility. Anyways, I'll fast forward a little bit to my first encounter. Um, so my grandma would always take me out camping. She preferred me to be, an outdoors kid. She didn't want me to be behind the TV or all that stuff when I was growing up. Well, one year, I want to say I was around 10 or 11. And I just did what normal kids did. I did my chores around camp. And then my grandma let me loose. Well, I went out, and I want to say I was like maybe a mile and a half from camp. And at this point, I I was, just a little beanpole of a kid. Had long hair. I'd never cut my hair. My grandma never let me cut my hair. And anyways, so I'm running through this meadow and I saw something that kind of blew my mind. And I've only had one other experience where my brain has gone fuzzy, like static on the TV.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have super duper bad ADHD. Like my brain goes 1,000 miles a minute in every single direction. But it was weird because I'm running through this meadow and she's standing there on her hind legs, like, and I knew it was a wolf. Like I was like, okay, that's a wolf, but there was more to it. And so I went and I took a step towards her and she dropped down on all fours and made like what I call a chupping noise, like kind of a half-hearted bark,
Okay.
And she kind of loped off into the trees. So I was like, okay, well, that was crazy. Well, I ran back to camp and I told my grandma about it, and that's when she told me, she said, okay, well, that's what the tribe calls the wolf people.
Oh.
And we don't mess with the wolf people. The wolf people have ground up here. We're close to it, but we're not on it. So just leave it alone. Well, that was kind of my whole day was like, okay, well, anyways, that night went to sleep. Everything was okay. Next morning, about, I want to say 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, I got up because I had to relieve myself. So being the boy I was, I just went outside, walked over into the bushes, and it was still kind of steamy and foggy. And I was relieving myself, and I got that. I almost want to call it like a spider sense, like that tingle when something's behind you. Now, Mike, just like I told Vic, I've heard people say, "Oh, it was right behind me." I turned around; it was like 15, 20 feet behind me. She was standing right behind me,
Yikes.
like so close. When I turned around, like I had to look up at her. Now, at this point, I want to say she was like 6.5 feet tall,
Ooh. Big enough.
and my hair wasn't braided because I'd been sleeping and I hadn't had time to braid it. I just had to pee.
Right.
She reached out with her hands, and I'm not talking like a paw. I'm talking like a hand. And everybody everybody talks about like a raccoon-like hand. They're not shitting you, bro. I'm sorry about cussing.
You're good. Go for it.
You're good.
Like literally, it was like a raccoon's hand. She reached out and she took a lock of my hair between her front finger and her thumb and brought it to her nose and smelled it.
Wow.
And that's when I heard my grandma say, "Cody, don't move." And Sasha kind of perked up and she looked over her shoulder at my grandma.
Yeah.
And she looked back at me, let go of my hair, dropped down to all fours, and kind of loped off into the brush. And at that point, my mind was blown because I'd never seen anything like her in my life. Like
Right.
I'd never. And at that point, I became obsessed with upright canines. And now, mind you, I've seen almost every media exploit of werewolves, shapeshifters,
Yeah.
everything. I have books upon books on it. And it's just something that blew my mind because I'd never seen anything like that. Well, after that encounter, my grandma sat me down and explained to me more in depth of what the wolf people are.
Okay.
And how she explained it was that the wolf people are like humans. They're just different. It's like a different branch. So they just evolved from a different, like wolves. They evolved from wolves instead of apes or whatever, or our early ancestors.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, okay, are they supernatural? And she said, not really, but some of them can be, and I've heard lots and lots of different podcasts and interviews and things like portals and they
Yes.
can cloak and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I feel like it might be like subspecies. Maybe subspecies can do that. I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
But what my grandma told me for sure was that the females are usually confined to the pack area. Um, they're usually bred out. They're usually a mother or something, or a nursemaid. Um, the males are the ones that you got to watch out for because the males are more aggressive. In fact, I have a friend up here that does logging,
Yeah.
and him and another buddy of his have encountered a male up in the same area. And let me tell you, it was a whole lot different because he says he thinks they spent almost 100 rounds between the two of them. And he said it did almost nothing to this thing. Okay.
Oof.
So after that, the rest of that summer out camping, I felt like I was being watched, but it kind of faded away. And then things happened, and I want to say it was almost 15 years that things, I didn't go out there. My grandma passed away, and then I moved to Utah and was there for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And then I came back to the county and end up hooking back up with my brother, and he wanted to go see my grandma's grave. Now, I spread my grandma's ashes out in the woods where she wanted me to.
Right.
And that area is close to the place where the wolf people are. Well, we didn't have any encounters or anything, but we went out there, had a good time. And then I came back to town. Now, in that year, I started noticing things like strange sounds, movement in the dark, and I was living in a trailer park at the time. And that was on the opposite side of town on the outskirts. Now I want to say, I went from the north side to the south side. I'm still on the outskirts, but I'm kind of right in town. Like I can literally walk across the highway to Safeway. Like it's maybe a block and a half, 2 blocks.
Okay.
Well, there was a time there where I didn't know for sure what was going on. And then I got really bad sick. Now, this was about 6 months ago now. I got really bad sick and I was bedridden. And I started noticing things like I make a lot of art and whatnot. And I'm paraphrasing this quite a bit, but I made a set of bone chimes. I don't know if you know what bone chimes are.
No, I'd love to know what they
No.
are.
Well, what is?
So, bone chimes are kind of a Native American thing or a pagan thing. And what they are is they were bones, femur and leg bones from a deer that were hung strategically on a stick that I had found on my porch. Now, I didn't think anything of the stick on my porch just because I live in kind of a rural area. Well, I put all these ruins and everything on it, like Old Norse ruins and tribal symbols and whatnot, and etched them in with my Dremel tool and hung them up. So when you hang it up, the bones, being since they're hollow, they sound like a wood chime.
Okay.
But they're bones.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I hung them on my porch, And I want to say it was maybe a week later that my friend who lives stone's throw from me, in fact, that's where I was before I got on here, just around the corner, I can see his house from my back door. I noticed that my bone chimes were gone one night when he dropped me off from work, because we worked at the same place. And so when he got off, I would just carpool with him home. Well, we got off at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I noticed that, now this is before I got sick.
Okay.
I noticed that the bone chimes were gone. And he told me when he got home, because he picked me up the next morning for work too. He picked me up and he says, "Hey, last night I heard wooden chimes outside my house." I said, "That's weird." It didn't click for us. It didn't click until later.
Right.
Well, I want to say this was about a week and a half before I got real bad sick, because I got a bone shifted in my ear and it gave me like medical grade vertigo.
Wow.
So it was like I was really drunk all the time.
Okay.
It was bad. And then I fell and hurt my lower back again. So I had to heal from that too. So it was like a 3-month period. But anyways, like a week and a half before that, it was the middle of summer, so it was hot, and I come home, it's hot. I was like, okay, I'm just going to open up my back door and let some cool air in. So I'm laying here on my bed and I can see my back door from my bedroom. Like, it's like my bedroom, I can see down the hall and I can see my back door.
Okay.
Well, I had fallen asleep, and this is where things get a little creepy.
Stop it.
Because I have my dog Lacey. Lacey's a
Yes.
good dog. She's
Lacey,
like
yeah.
7 years old. And here's the thing, though. She's real smart, and she's a really loving dog, but she's a coward. She's a scaredy cat.
Okay.
So anyways, I was woken up by Lacey growling.
Wow.
And I woke up, and I'm like, okay, what are you growling at? And she's staring at the back door. And I look over, and I realize that I've left the back door open. And inside on the door frame, because my back door opens from the right-hand side, swings out from the right-hand side.
Okay.
On the left-hand side where it shuts, I saw something, and like I'm waking up, and as my eyes focus, I realize it's a hand. And I'm talking like massive claws, everything. Like it's getting ready to come in my house.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm the kind of guy, I have a Second Amendment thing on my front door. Don't come in my house, I'll shoot you. There's a reason for that. I grabbed my .45 pistol and I pulled the hammer back. And everything in my head just was kind of like, say what your grandma told you to say. My grandma told me to say, "You're not welcome in this house. Do not come in here."
Yes.
Right.
And I noticed the hand flinched and then let go.
And your grandma was big into the supernatural.
Absolutely.
Yes.
My grandma was essentially, like I said, was essentially a witch.
Okay.
And so was my mom too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
And that came down to me. Like, I'm a witch in my own right, but I'm not so much of a practicer, except for like certain things with my house. Like I do weird stuff. Like, I've got bones hanging all over my house. There's gourds all over the place. Like, it's just, I'm a very witchy person.
Okay.
Right.
Anywho, the hand withdrew itself, and I waited like maybe 15 minutes. got up and I shut the door. Now, I didn't hear anything or see anything for about 3 weeks after that. And then I got really bad sick. And after about a month and a half of being like really, really bad sick, I started slowly getting better. Well, it's weird when you can't, like when you're not watching TV and stuff, because I got bored with watching TV.
Mhm.
So I would just turn things off and I would just listen to the quiet. And I would hear things. Now, I know you guys do your research and whatnot, and I know that you know what it sounds like when something's walking on 2 feet.
Yeah, bipedal, yes.
Yeah. I heard that every night. Every night you could hear it. And what she'll do is she'll come over to, like, I'm laying on my bed right now by the big bay window, which I have totally covered.
Okay.
And I live in a single wide, and there's not a lot to it. Like, it's like if she wanted to come in here, she would have no problem.
Right.
Anyways, she'll rub her body along the metal on the outside of the door, or not the door, of the outside of the wall, right here by where I'm laying. And she'll make a sound which I call wolf laughing, like when wolves laugh. It's like a, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a curiosity sound.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people like they're like, oh, you mean like a hyena? No, it's kind of different. It's more like they're telling the rest of the pack, hey, I found something, or hey, I like this. This is cool.
I'm learning so much right now.
Yeah. No, this is just 1 second, Cody. We
Okay.
have a question here for you. It says, "Do wolf people have a distinct smell to them? They say like Bigfoot or Sasquatch does. So
Oh,
do they have that a distinctive smell when they are around?"
um, so here's one thing that I should have probably put in. Um, yes, I will say that Sasha has a smell.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Sasha's the only one that I've encountered.
Okay.
I've never encountered a male. I've never encountered another one. And I've had lots of people talk to me. Like, I've talked to people that have talked to Vic. I've talked to Vic extensively about it. And we're all kind of stumped why Sasha's alone, other than the fact that somebody told me that there's a possibility that she may have been kicked out of a pack for some reason,
Oh, wow.
but we're not sure why. Also, the general consensus is that Sasha may see me as like a surrogate mate, not really
Wow.
like her mate has died, and that because like one of the tidbits I forgot about was that when we were face to face when I was younger, Sasha and I have the same color blue eyes. Like our eyes are exactly the same blue color. Um. Anyways, where was I at? Oh, the smell.
Yep.
Yes, Sasha does have a smell.
Okay.
Sasha smells like pear blossoms. If
Very
that makes any
interesting.
sense. If you
Uh,
ever
that
heard
that that
of,
that's very interesting for because you've probably heard descriptions of other cryptids and how they smell, and it's usually
right,
really bad. It's like
right,
a putrid type of smell
yeah,
because they it's they're out in the woods. They live in the woods. So they're subjected to the elements. It's like your dog when it's been wet and it comes in the
mhm,
house. You get that smell. But it's very interesting how her smell is quite different than anything else we've ever heard. And I guess that's. I mean, it would be interesting to find out if that is the distinctive smell between female dogmen and male dogmen type of
And
deal.
I think that might be a thing because I've talked to another lady who's been in contact with Vic, who has pretty regular encounters with a female dogman that she calls Ember. And she
Okay.
says Ember has a different, more pleasant scent to her than her male counterpart, who she calls Big Guy. And she said that he's just, he's got that kind of that wet dog and garbage smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she says that Ember doesn't. Ember doesn't have that putrid smell. She's
Right.
kind of got a more pleasant. She says that Ember smells like autumn, like an autumn breeze, like the smell
Right.
of like decaying leaves and whatnot. In the autumn, it smells really nice.
Yeah.
And Sasha smells like what in my head is like what a pear tree smells like when it starts to bloom, like that pear blossom smell,
Yeah.
And so let's see. We've talked about the one where she's tried to come in the house.
Cody, I
She
want to ask, sorry, real quick here. And I love the storytelling. You're like, it's like turnkey. You're running and I love it. Please keep going. But I want to ask, have you ever encountered any other dogmen? Have any other dogmen gotten involved because you're with Sasha, the relationship you have, if we can call it that, the relationship you've had with Sasha and you have with Sasha, continue to have any other dogman made their presence known for whatever reason regarding you and her?
That's a good question, and I will say that as far as I know, the answer is no.
Wow.
Because I've as it is now, like right now, not today, but yesterday, I was outside sitting on the edge of my wood pile, and I was watching as Lacey, my dog, will it's almost like they're playing peekaboo. Lacey will run over towards the willow thicket, which is right across the road from me, maybe 10 feet, 10, 15 feet. She'll run over and she'll stop and she'll do the little pounce dog thing.
Okay.
And Sasha will pop her head out and she'll slap the ground.
Amazing.
And they'll do stuff like that, but Lacey will never get too close to Sasha. And that's something that might be my doing, because I do know from countless podcasts and whatnot that dogmen eat canines.
Yes. I knew you were going to say that. I don't know why. Yes.
But let's see. So after I started getting better and I started getting back to work, so the way my house works is I have an artesian well, and it comes up from the ground. But a couple years back, my pipes broke, so I've had to rig it so it runs a little different. I have a hose that comes into my house, into my bathroom, and runs cold water into my shower and whatnot. Anyways, but I don't like the metal and plasticky taste of the hose. So what I'll do is I'll go out and I'll get water directly from the spigot. Well, I woke up one night and it was 1:30 in the morning, and I was thirsty and I needed a drink, and my water bottle was empty. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go outside and get some water, but I don't sleep with clothes on. It's just not something I do. And, it's a comfort thing. It's nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I thought, well, it's 1:30 at night. Nobody's going to be awake. I was thinking about human eyes.
Yes.
So I get up, start naked. I go out my back door with my dog, and I lay down on the grass, and I start getting water out of the spigot that's right underneath my house.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, Lacey ran past me and went back in the house. And I was like, huh, that was weird.
Right.
Kept getting water, filled up my water jug, and I stood up. And now my backyard is maybe 8 feet across
Okay.
from the side of my house to the fence. And it's just a little chicken wire fence. It's nothing, you know, it's like it's not even big enough to keep my dog in. She's just not smart enough to jump over it. I don't know if that's it or what, or maybe she's just a good dog. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I stood up, I was almost in the middle of the backyard. So I was like 4 feet from the fence. And when I stood up in my birthday suit with this water jug, is when I was pretty much face to face with Sasha again. Now, this is probably the best look I've ever gotten at Sasha.
Okay.
Like, I have sketches of Sasha, and I'll have to send them to you.
Oh, I'd love to see them.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, like, I was so close. I could see her nostrils moving. I
Wow.
could see her ears pivot as she was listening. Like, I could hear her breath. Like, it was, I could see her blink. It was like muscles moving underneath the skin.
Crazy.
Like, there was no telling me that this was somebody in a suit trying to scare me. No,
Right.
this was like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Dog Soldiers.
I have
No?
not, no.
Okay. If you get a chance, give it a watch. It's about werewolves, but
Writing it down.
the way that they depict the werewolves,
Yeah.
they're really tall. Now, Sasha now is like 8.5 feet tall.
God damn. Sorry.
Wow. She's got the real long muzzle, and she's got long pointed ears.
Okay.
And she's got the mane. She's got like long hair mane around her neck
Yes.
and her upper body. And then it comes down to her chest. And she has like small, like, I want to say like maybe B cup breasts.
Okay.
And then below, she's got 4 more nipples.
Okay.
So there's that. And her chest is smaller than a human's. It's not as like, I want to say it's like take a quarter of a human's rib cage out, and
Yep.
that's her chest. You know, it's smaller, but her
Wow.
torso is extremely long, and her arms go all the way down, and I want to say her wrists are about to where her kneecaps are, and she's got the canine-esque back legs,
Right.
and she has a tail. Her tail's only about 1.5 feet long, but it's there.
Yep.
And she's got like I said, she's got the mane, but her mane is really long. It's like really long hair in the back.
Okay.
And what it looks like is her fur is like a gunmetal gray, but the mane is like, it goes from the gunmetal gray and it goes out and it gets lighter, and it looks like somebody's shining a light through the fur. And then there's her blue eyes. Go ahead. Did you have something to say, Dale?
Yeah, we just had a really interesting question come in. It says, has Sasha ever killed an animal and left it on your doorstep as maybe a gift?
She's never left me animals, but I've watched her eat cats.
Go.
I had a lot of feral cats around here,
Yeah.
and I've seen her on 2 or 3 different occasions. Just like they'll be walking along, and her hand will just come out of like tall grass and grab them.
Right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
She has left me other gifts. She's left me like sticks and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she has left you a gift. Now, in return, have you ever given her anything
Hmm.
as like a thank you for being around type of deal? Like like we've heard these stories before, like with people that have had constant interactions with like a Bigfoot or another cryptid that they would offer gifts to them. Now, is that something
Like
that you
food or
both do
whatever.
with each
Yeah.
other?
So I have done that before.
Okay,
And what I would do was I would leave out like stones or trinkets, things that I found that I liked. And the other thing was like eggs. I had chickens for a while, and I had an overabundance of eggs, so I would leave eggs out on a plate, and she would take the eggs. But I'm pretty sure because I don't have my chickens anymore because I'm pretty sure Sasha ate them.
Oh,
Which I'm not too mad about, but it's like okay, well, there goes your eggs too. So,
right.
um, but like when I encountered her in my birthday suit, it was kind of a game changer because
yes.
like I don't, I didn't know how to feel. Like, dude, my whole brain just shut down
Right.
because I'm pretty much face to face with a 8.5 foot tall bipedal canine that's looking at me with kind of the look that I got was, are you really standing out here naked right now?
Sorry.
That kind of look. And then I
Right.
was like, first thing in my brain was like, okay, you got to do something. So I was like, hi, Sasha. I'm just getting water and I'm going to go back inside. Okay. And as I'm saying that, I'm trying to like walk backwards into my house, which was hard. But I got back in my house and got my door shut. But right as I shut my door, I watched her drop down on all fours and just kind of slowly walk towards the river. And I got my door shut, and that's when I had like, I don't know, like a mini heart attack, or you
Oh,
know, uh, I just kind of leaned against my wall and I shook for a little bit. My dog was like all up on me, trying to soothe me and whatnot. And I was just like, oh my
Right.
god. But since then, it's like I've had I've had times where I've been outside, like just in the past week or two, where I'll watch her. Like she'll just come out of over by the river on all fours. She's almost 100% of the time on all fours.
okay.
Um, she stands up when she needs to, but other than that, it's not all the time. Something else that I know is that when I first got sick, I had ordered a trail cam because I wanted to
Oh,
try to get a picture of her or something.
right.
Well, my neighbor helped me get the trail cam up on my roof, right above my bedroom. And I went to bed that night. And the next morning, I got up and I think I went to go get the mail or a package or something. And when I opened my door, I found the trail cam on my front porch.
Oh my God.
And this trail cam looked like a beer can somebody had smashed with their hand, like just crushed it.
That's nuts.
And like I still have the trail cam, but like it was so crushed I couldn't even get the SD card out of it.
Oh God.
And
Wow.
it wasn't like a week or so after that where I was sitting outside with my dog and I saw Sasha come out of the tall grass, and this was after dark. I saw her come out of the tall grass, and I was like, I'm going to try to get a picture on my phone. So I kind of pulled my phone out and just kind of tried to be sneaky about it.
Mm.
And as soon as I flipped the thing where it went to my phone, it makes like a shutter sound. and I didn't think of that. But as soon as that happened, Sasha's ears laid back and she growled at me.
Oh,
And that's the only time she's growled at me. But and it was pretty much like, don't do that.
right.
And that's when I figured out that I think they're smarter than we give them credit for,
I agree.
because
Okay.
she knew exactly what that was. She knew what my gun was. She knew exactly what the cameras were, my phone and the trail cam both. And that was telling me, hey, don't do that. And
Right.
from then on, I've never tried to take a picture of her again. Now, I've got 3 or 4 sketches of her. Like, she'll sit long enough or, be in a position long enough where I can get a sketch of her. But
Oh, okay.
for the most part, it's just no cameras. Like, they know what that stuff is.
Right.
It's crazy.
Something else this is more recent, within the past month or so. I've talked to another coworker of mine. Now, this coworker, people think's weird because she's got a thing for aliens.
Okay.
And but that's to each their own. And it's weird because I've seen what she's talking about. She'll take
Okay.
like her laser pointer and she'll do it up in the sky, and all of a sudden things will start moving. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm more down to earth. I'm not looking up in the sky.
Literally.
Right.
But I give her the same amount of respect, because she asked me a lot about Sasha. Well, I asked her one day. She asked me. She's like, "Hey, Cody, what does Sasha look like?" This was
Yes.
just out of the blue, and I'm like,
Right.
"Why do you ask?" Well, apparently, her and her brother, they live together. Anyways, her and her brother, they take walks. Well, they'll take walks down, you know, down through town, uh, late at night, like around like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Okay.
And so the river that runs past my house, it literally runs right through town. Like, it goes right through the middle of town.
Okay.
But there's a lot of space around that. It's not even a big river. It's like a stream, I guess.
Right.
But so she says, because her and her brother have seen what she calls a really, really big wolf. And I told her the color and description. She's like, that's it. So this is what I found out. More people have seen Sasha in this town than just me. But the
Right.
thing is they're misidentifying it. They
Okay.
think she's a really big dog. And I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
because 2 weeks ago, exactly, I got a message from somebody claiming to be from a conservation institute. And now let me tell you, like, they immediately got into asking me questions, like super specific questions, like, when she jumps, does she jump on all fours, or does she jump from her hind legs? How does she drink? Does she sip it, or does she lap it with her tongue?
Jeez. Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
Oh boy.
super specific stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff that literally scared me. Like, I immediately had to, I told Vic, I told my friend Kenny, who works with the uh, Dogman Research Association or whatever. And both of them are like, no, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him at all.
Right.
What's that?
Good
thing?
advice.
Cody, just a minute here. Jason is asking, is there a way that you can communicate with Sasha, like how Bigfoot does like a wood knock type of thing as a part of communication? Now, does Sasha do kind of the same things?
Let's see. Sasha will do a couple things. if I'm in, sorry, if I'm in my house, Sasha will slap the side of my house, and I know Bigfoot do that too. Sorry, I need to get a drink.
Yep.
Take a minute, brother. Take a minute. Of course.
Yep.
You got to do.
Oh, that's better. Okay. Like I said, Sasha will slap the side of my house trying to get my attention, or she will drum her nails. You know how people do that, drum their fingernails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sasha will do that. Sasha will do that on, like, right here beside my bed on the outside wall. Or
Nuts.
if I'm standing outside or I'm outside and she wants to get my attention, she'll do that like a chuffing noise, like a half a bark, like a woof.
Okay.
Or
She's quite a character.
or she will howl if she's a farther distance away. And that's just to let me know that, okay, she knows I'm outside somewhere.
Oh.
Mike, you said something about mind speaking when we started.
Yes, sir.
Sasha has never mind spoke to me.
Okay. Okay.
Not to get on here or anything, but like,
no.
where her name Sasha came from, it may have been mind speak back then. Because when I first encountered her, when she touched my hair, in my head, I had to think of something to call her because I didn't know what she was.
Right.
So I called her Sasha. I don't know if that's mind speak or what.
Sure.
Or like, it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But other forms of communication, I just talk to Sasha. Like I talk, I want to say I talk at her.
Yeah.
Other times, like she does this thing where she'll rush at Lacey, like she'll like
charge?
yeah, and I'll be like, and I will literally say, Sasha, no.
Yeah.
Right.
And she'll stop. She'll like skid, and I'll be like, you be nice. And I tell Lacey the same thing. And it's weird because I've started talking to her like I talk to my dog.
Right.
Right.
One thing I've noticed is that Sasha likes to get under my house. Like there's there's two openings underneath my single wide trailer where she can get under there. And what I've noticed is like sometimes at night she'll get under there and my dog Lacey will like walk along looking down at the floor because she can hear her under there, or I'll hear her doing stuff. Other things like I said, Sasha's eaten most of the feral cats around here. In fact, one day I was outside watching her and I saw this gray tabby cat coming along and I was like, uh-oh. And I saw Sasha's body, like, because she can almost flatten herself on the ground, which is weird. And as Tabby come walking along by this tall grass, Sasha's hand just comes out. Now she's got long arms. They're huge. And I just watched this long arm come out and just grab this cat and bring it back in. And it was like, wham! And that was it. And I look over and I'm watching, and then Sasha pops her head back up. But instead of, normal, she's got a cat hanging out of her mouth. And then she slinks back towards the water.
Yeah.
Right.
Things about Sasha that I know for sure. Her back legs are very canine.
Yeah.
She has her back paws are like wolf paws, except they're more elongated.
Okay.
Like the footprints look more elongated. Her paws are like her hands. They're very raccoon-like,
Yes.
but her claws, they're not like dog claws. You know how dogs, they kind of have the toe and then there's the claw.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Yeah.
goes to the finger and then it's claw. It's like the claws come out of the tip of the fingers.
Wow.
So that tells me that they're connected directly to the bone.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Also,
Yeah.
huh?
Cody, just 1 second. So when you're saying that Sasha's mostly like crouched down and stuff like that, would you think that would be because she's trying to not be recognized by anybody else and she only wants to not like kind of like camouflage herself but not be seen by anybody? It's just she's there for you and doesn't want to be recognized by anybody else. Would you think that's why she always stays crouching low to the ground?
I believe that that's part of it. I believe she stays on all fours because in this area we have tons of dogs. Like there's dogs
Okay.
everywhere. Everybody's got a dog.
Right.
Okay. We've got a few stray dogs that people or dogs that just roam around. And I believe
Okay.
that's why she stays on all fours. But she's got tells, like when she's on all fours. Have you seen the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes.
Okay, you know how Gollum moves around?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that when she's like trying to move on all fours and being slow. Okay,
Oh
now
wow.
she can
Okay.
gallop on all fours, that's fine. But when she's trying to like move slowly on all fours, it's like the whole Gollum movement. Um, and it's because her body is her torso is very long,
Right.
but she has super long front legs and her back legs aren't quite as long. Um, Also, she has what I call a swimmer's build to her. Now,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that their encounters are with these big hulking, Arnold Schwarzenegger like huge things.
Yes.
Sasha's not like that. She's very lanky and very skinny.
Okay.
But like when she growled at me when I tried to take a picture, her teeth, every single one of her teeth are pointed. Every single one of them. It's not like a dog's where some of them are flat.
Right.
Every single from her incisors to her canines to her molars, they're all sharp, and
Yeah.
that tells me that she's a meat eater.
Yeah.
And um, also, I have an idea that she not only eats deer and the local fauna, but I feel like she's also a fish and a bird eater,
Okay.
Okay.
because we have tons of those up here.
Right.
And like this area this is a perfect area for her to be in and not really be noticed. Uh, what's that say?
It
What's
says, I
this?
wonder if cryptids are able to recognize electronics and then emanate some sort of frequency so that we can't hear but disrupts cameras and such. I mean, I know you said that. I mean, your trail cam just ended up being crushed like an aluminum can. But like yeah, I mean, every photo that comes out of a Bigfoot or any cryptic creature, it's always blurry or stuff like that. And I mean, we've talked about it in other shows and stuff like that. That because they vibrate at a much higher frequency, that electronics cannot pick them up. That's
That
that's
could
why we get the blurriness.
that could be, but I've talked to a lady in I believe Alabama, and she lives out in the sticks, and she's got a whole family of these things that live on her property, and she sent me pictures. Now, most of them are blurry, but
Right.
the way I take it is like, okay, these were taken spur of the moment, and there wasn't enough time to focus.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
I saw a picture of one literally laying in a ditch, like laying on its side in a ditch, sunning itself. And you could tell what it was. It was just a little blurry because it was like, oh, I'm going to grab my picture and take a picture.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when it comes to Sasha, I've never had the opportunity to have a picture taken. I do have other evidence, though. I have fur
Okay.
samples. I have hair that she's left on the side of my house. I've got a couple castings, and I've got pictures of like claw marks and whatnot.
Wow.
But the thing is I don't know exactly who to give them to, and I don't want like I've stated before. I don't want black SUVs or black helicopters.
No.
Yeah. No.
Um,
No.
because the way I feel about it, like, yeah, it's a strange interaction. It's something that's very unique and something that not a lot of people get.
Yes.
Right.
But I see Sasha's like a friend. She's not a pest. She's not just some animal. Like,
Right.
I don't know why she's here. I have no idea.
Cody, I
And I
want to ask
go
real
for it.
quick here. If you said it, I'm sorry. For some reason I didn't hear it. I didn't resonate in my brain. When you look at Sasha, when we look at the face, some people describe Dogman as looking like a Doberman. Some people
Right.
describe Dogman as a Husky. Some people describe Dogman as a German Shepherd. What kind of dog is she?
Sasha's a wolf.
Okay.
Like, I was raised with wolves. I know exactly what their facial features look like. She's
Yep.
even got, so when you look at her right in the face, she's even got they're like little dots above their eyebrows.
Okay.
There's a little dot where the hair kind of, I think they've got like whiskers up there. It's kind of like an eyebrow for them.
Mm.
So there's a little dot there, and she has very expressionate face, but she's got the long, slim muzzle. But here's the thing with Sasha: her front canines are huge. Like, her front canines dip out below the bottoms of her lips, so
Okay.
you can see them below the bottoms of her lips.
Okay.
And she has a second pair of canines that sit right behind the first big pair. So the bottom set of canines will nestle between the top pair and the second one on top.
Okay.
And like I've said, I've seen her eat cats.
Yes.
I know she's taken down a couple of deer up here. And I want to say I've heard her chase something past my house. Now, and what I mean by that is it was weird because I heard something run full gate past my house right here by my window.
Yeah.
And right behind it you could hear the bipedal boom 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 boom.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
And I heard a scuffle, which wasn't too, I think they were either in my front yard or in my just right across the street, which is my neighbor's yard. I heard a scuffle, and then I heard a bark, and that was about it.
Done.
The next morning when I went out, I saw some scuffle marks, but I didn't see any blood. And something that I've noticed about Sasha is that, especially if she like grabs a cat or something, she'll snap their necks. She won't like just bite them or kill them like a normal wolf, go for a kill bite. She'll snap their necks.
Almost humane.
Huh?
She's almost humane in doing what she's doing.
Right. It's almost, it's quick.
Yeah.
It's quick and painless.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, do you think maybe she's like people have asked me, well, do you think she got kicked out of her pack because of mental instability or something like that? I
Okay.
don't know.
Sure.
Like I
Lots
said
of
before,
theories.
I don't. Yeah, the theories are really open. I don't know why she's here.
Right.
Um, I've had people be like, "Well, I hope you don't have visitors over there." I had some issues with my best friend who lives just a couple doors away.
Yeah.
There was a minute there where Sasha was a little uh, inquisitive about him. And that's when she would do mind speak with him. And what he was feeling was like an image.
Okay.
And he said when he would go home, as he was going in his back door, he would get like an image transmitted into his head where her hand would be like coming down to get him off of his roof. But what I told
Wow.
him was to speak to her, be like, hey, we're friends. We're just, we're doing this for mutual benefit. It's nothing. You don't got to worry about me. And
Right.
after that, kind of stuff. Um, now, I've had people be like, well, what about relationships? Lay down, dog. What about relationships and stuff? Are you worried about that? And I said, no, because I've been through that. Like, I'm, I don't have girlfriends anymore. I'm past that. You
Brother,
know,
I
I've
feel you. Wow.
I've
Go
got
on.
my
Sorry.
son. I've got my son. I got his mother that I have to deal with. That's a
Sure.
whole different issue that I don't want to talk about.
Fair enough.
But
Right.
but they're like, well, aren't you worried about? I said, you don't have to worry because they don't come to my house. Because I know that can be an issue too. I've heard
Right.
stories where dogmen have weird attachments towards children and whatnot. Um, Now, I don't know if now, and that seems to be more Lacey. Lay down. Stop it. Um, I feel like it depends on where you're at, what kind of interactions you're going to get with these creatures.
Okay.
Um, See, I refer to Sasha as a northern type 2. So
Right.
she's
There are different types for those that don't
right.
know. There's different types of dogs.
Um,
100%.
I've been talking to another guy who lives in Florida that is originally from Colombia. And
Okay.
he says when he was growing up, they had encounters with a creature that looked more like a hyena.
Yes. Okay. Now you're talking.
Um, and he said it could even transmit pain to his friends and him, like it could cause internal pain for him. I've never experienced that with Sasha. Sasha, when I don't want to say that Sasha's like a pet, but
Right.
Sasha to me is my friend.
Right.
Um, that doesn't mean I'm going to try to pet her. Uh,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I'm very aware that she's a wild animal,
Yes.
but the
Right.
interactions I do have with her are genuinely good. But for the most part, that's about my story, guys. Like it's
I mean
like
that's truly amazing, and I mean the it sounds like the boundaries that you guys have both set with each other. I mean, even though they're not spoken boundaries, it's like you said, you won't reach out to try to touch her or pet her. You treat her with respect, and I
right,
think like anything else in this world, if Michael John says this all the time, with intent, like they pick that up, like they know, like if you're want to harm them or do
right,
anything wrong to them, because they are truly far more intelligent creatures than we are. So they know your every move, and your pure intentions towards Sasha is sounds like what an amazing bond that you've created and being able to have all these really amazing experiences with, and to kind of be that person that could say, well, yeah, this is what I witnessed. And
Right.
so it's truly, truly amazing. And wow, like most most people would even dream of having that kind of interaction that you're having.
It's pretty magical. Like, I want to say there was one point I watched her, and I believe it was a full moon. Now, I see her all the time. I don't just see her on full moons. I'm fully aware she's not a werewolf. Um,
Right.
but I watched her one night during the full moon. Now I have a street light at the end of my street. My street's like a cul-de-sac,
Okay.
but um, there's a blue street light that illuminates like the roundabout where you can turn around. Well, one night late, I went to let my dog out, and when I did that, I noticed that Sasha was out in the middle of the roundabout playing with a stick. She had like a big stick, and she'd like flip it up in the air, and she'd catch it, and she'd like drag it around on the ground and just make these weird, like happy dog sounds. And,
Right.
it wasn't directed at me. It was just like something she was doing,
Yeah.
but it was
Right.
like magical to be able to see this and be able to see it from a creature that's not supposed to exist.
Wow. And you hit the nail
Yeah.
on the head there. And you know what's cool? I mean, dare I say, she sounds like, number one, she's a real character. She's just a big puppy. I mean, with all caution, focused on that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I lost my train of thought. Oh God, I was on a roll. Sorry. It comes and goes so fast at this age. Man, too many hits to the head.
Uh,
But wow. Thank you so much. I mean, she's always around you, which is amazing. Daily. And I mean, this is something since 10 years old, you've encountered this. And I mean, you're almost, dare I say it, and I hate to keep saying that, but I mean, you're almost in a safe space with her. It's like Dale was saying, there's like a mutual understanding of each other's boundaries. But there's encounters every day. Has she ever come to you in dreams?
I don't dream that much.
Okay.
okay.
I have dreams about her, but I don't know if it's like her physically coming to me in dreams or whatnot.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't dream that much. Like, and when I do dream, it's usually insignificant to me.
Okay.
Okay.
To the point where I don't remember it.
Yeah. No. Jason's saying thank you for sharing your experience, and yeah,
Of
I mean
course.
this is truly like one of the most in depth, um, like recalls we've ever had with somebody that has this close of a relationship. Because I mean, you hear that people say that you encounter a dogman, you won't live to talk about it, but here you are from a very very young age, with all these experiences with Sasha. So, I mean, it's there's a big huge trust there. My only question is, and I don't know if this has ever been an issue, but like because you guys have such a bond, if somebody was trying to hurt you, would she kind of interact with that to stop them? Just like your dog, right?
Or
Somebody's
vice
Right.
trying to
versa.
hurt you. Your dog's gonna lash out
Mhm.
at that person. Do you think Sasha would interfere with anybody trying to harm you?
Um, I believe yes, because
Okay.
I my family, um, bless their souls, my grandmother has passed, and so has my mother. And my stepfather, who is the father of my three younger brothers, has also passed. Um, but we got a reputation passed down to us. We're the bad kids, we've we all have had our problems with the local PD. Well,
That's life.
I remember one night before my brother moved out of here, and this is before I had like more closer encounters with Sasha being here. I had a night where one of the cops that we don't get along with came over, and he came over at like 12 o'clock at night, which was a ridiculous time to come over, just to wake me up out of bed and be like, hey, where's your brother at? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, he's in there asleep, like, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of got into, I'm not going to go into it too much, but we got into a verbal disagreement, and I told him to get off my property.
Fair
well,
enough.
I am actually good friends with the chief of police, who is actually the godfather of my son.
There you go. Okay.
Anyways, he told me that night, that particular officer, because he drives a pickup truck, cruiser.
Right.
He said that cop had been sitting at a point on the opposite side of town, but was sitting, just kind of, observing. And he said that something hit the side of his truck and spun it around.
Oh,
wow.
Now, I don't know if that was Sasha, but if it was, I'd give her props for that, because he said that whatever it was like something shouldered into the side of the truck. Now, this is I think it's a Ford F-250.
okay.
Wow. Not a small vehicle.
No, it's not. And she shouldered it, and it spun it a whole 360 degrees.
Wow.
So these creatures aren't to be messed with, and that's why, all these people say that, oh, if you have a Dogman encounter, you may not live to tell the tale. That's true. That's a true statement. If Sasha wanted me dead, I'd be dead. Like, she'd have no problem ripping this house apart and coming to get me if she wanted me. Like, I know for a fact that that she's strong enough to flip my RV over if she wanted to. She could take this place apart, but she doesn't.
Right.
And it's just, I do want people to know that these creatures aren't all bad. Like, I've heard horror stories. Like, I've heard about the LBL massacre. I've
Man
heard
Between the Lakes.
Yep, and I've heard about other places where people have just had shootouts with these things, and it's like it does nothing to them. And I want people to realize that, yeah, there's a lot of, I don't want to say they're bad, because it could just be the fact that we're in their territory, which is something that as humans we do quite a lot. We try to take over stuff that isn't ours.
Yes.
And the fact of the matter is we need to get through our thick skulls that we're not the top of the food chain. And I hope that, I know that a lot of people who have listened to this and listen to me talk about Sasha, I have a lot of people ask, talking to me like, oh, it's so nice that you have such a good repertoire with Sasha. It's not that I have a good repertoire with her. It's that, like you said, I have these boundaries that we've set up, and I give her the respect where the respect is due.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, that should be with anything we do. Sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, real quick here.
Yep.
And we'll let you go here. We've gone past the hour, which is fine. I think it's the longest show we've ever had. So that speaks volumes for, you're so interesting to listen to. Eye shine. What color is her eye shine?
So her eye shine is about this. Now her eyes aren't illuminated. They're not like, they don't glow. And I
Okay.
know a lot of people have talked about how their eyes glow. Sasha's don't glow. They do illuminate with light though, but they're about, I think they're amberish color.
Sounds about right.
But her eyes regularly are blue. They're
Yeah.
just like mine.
Wow, that is absolutely spectacular, Cody. Before we let you go, I just want to say thank you so much. This whole show has been nothing but educational, and I'm glad that there is a feel good story out there about the Dogman. So like I said, most of the ones that we've heard, they weren't so nice. But yeah, I'm glad. I look forward to hearing more down the road because just one other thing. Have you ever thought about writing a book about all of your encounters as well with her? And then
Dale,
adding in some of the drawings.
Dale, I have a book. It's about 186 pages deep that I've written
Okay.
about her already,
All right.
and
Yes.
it's still got another 100 pages left to go. So
Awesome.
Oh, I will definitely be signing up to get that book because, like I said, uh,
Nice.
truly amazing. Cody, thank you so much. You are an amazing guy, and I'm glad that your connection with the Dogman with Sasha is so spectacular. So thank you, man. The truly eye opening and educational. Thank you.
well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Cody, an honor and a privilege to have you on for sure. I was on the edge of my seat with everything you've shared. And I would love to have you on up the road because I know you're going to have more. I mean, daily occurrences, incredible. And I love your transparency. Thank you for that. You're a genuine soul. Everything you're saying, right down to your baby girl, your little dog. Wow. I just love that while you're talking, you're like, no, come over here. And you're
Yeah,
it's awesome. You're very, everything about you is dogs, which is,
Yeah.
I've had dogs off and on my whole life. It's funny now from my last relationship, she took the dogs, now I have cats. It's the craziest thing. That's why I kind of, when you said, oh, Sasha eats cats, I was like, I gasped.
Yeah.
But anyway, alas, I digress. Listen,
It's funny.
Go ahead.
I just thought it was funny because I've never been a cat person.
Yes.
But like I've got my dog, but it's just funny how I've got lots of friends who are cat people, and
Yeah.
I even had one of them who lives in the same area. She's like, "Hey, have you seen the blah blah cats? That were around here?" And I'm like, no."
Oh no. Oh no. Awkward.
Because like, I know where the cats have gone. I'm not telling you.
That's great. Okay,
Uh,
so since the age of 10, our guest here tonight, Cody Laughing Wolf, what a remarkable gentleman. Since the age of 10 years old, he's had encounters with a dog man / dog woman by the name of Sasha. What an incredible journey, and it continues to go on to this day. I want to say thank you to all the creeps, the freaks, and the weirdos that make up the TPV Nation. Michael John here, along with my co-ghost host, Dale Quigley, of course. Thank you all so much. We'll see you all on the other side. But in the meantime, and in between time, happy hauntings.
happy huntings.
Later.